Welcome to a deep dive that might just challenge everything you thought you knew about earning a degree. Forgot classrooms, tests, the usual grind. Today, we're exploring a really different approach. It's about education, where learning is defined by authentic meaning, not just measurement.
Yeah, exactly. We're diving into excerpts from Mythocratic Republic, a self-authored degree. It's a fascinating blueprint for a pretty unique educational journey.
And this is by Rainbow NeSmith and Sage NeSmith, right? Published on Wendell's Diary.
That's the one. It's the official platform for the People's Presidency and the Emergence Party. They explore sort of new pathways for leadership, meaning how society evolves.
Okay, so our mission today is to really understand how this soft mythic institution, as they call it, aims to empower you, the listener, to become a citizen scholar, crafting a symbolic education rooted in your own story. So let's start there. What does it actually mean to get a bachelor's degree by creating, quote, a website, a blog, a voice, and a philosophy?
It's a big question right off the bat.
Yeah. So the very first chapter, Welcome to the Republic, it sets a really distinct tone, immediately different from, traditional school. Rainbow writes, "The Republic isn't a building, it's a feeling."
That first line kind of stops you, doesn't it?
It really does. It immediately signals this isn't your typical university structure.
How does that idea redefine what an institution can even be for someone used to concrete buildings and campuses?
Well, it suggests it's more about a shared consciousness, right? A community built around a certain way of learning, of self-discovery, rather than a physical place. Sage really emphasizes this, saying Mythocratic Republic University operates outside traditional academia. It's an emergent path, built by you, supported by us.
An emergent path.
Yeah, and the book itself, they say it's not a syllabus, it's a mirror. The goal is self-authorship. That's key. Not making everyone the same.
So you're the author, not the product.
Precisely. And Rainbow adds something powerful. You don't need to be tested to be real. Instead of sorting people by scores, they listen to their stories. Listening to stories instead of grading tests. Wow, okay. So it's about growing your degree through care, not pressure. In a garden, they say, rather than a rigid institution.
That's the metaphor, yeah. Nurturing
Yeah.
growth.
It definitely contrasts with the usual academic pressure cooker. But, I wonder, for someone who wants knowledge quickly, thoroughly, maybe without that overwhelm, does this system demand a different kind of discipline, like intense self-motivation?
That's a really important point. It offers huge freedom, but yeah, it asks for a deep commitment to your own internal guidance. And what's really interesting is where they start. Before you make anything outwardly, the degree asks you to look inward, deeply inward.
Right. Chapter 2, The Lantern You Carry. It talks about this quiet light inside you, the one that knows, like noticing a flame that's already there.
Exactly.
That idea of the lantern, it totally shifts the starting point, doesn't it? If you're used to starting with, course requirements or prerequisites.
Absolutely. The curriculum, if you can call it that, starts with recognition, not requirements. Sage describes this lantern as carrying your origin, all your lived experiences, your emotional formations, those quiet truths you hold.
So the messy stuff isn't stuff to get rid of, it's the material itself.
Precisely. They're your materials.
Mm-hmm.
And the questions they pose are quite profound. What pains have shaped my perception? What longings have survived? What themes keep coming back?
Wow.
These, they say, are the bones of your philosophy.
Yeah.
It starts from that deep personal inventory.
Okay, so once you've recognized that inner light, that lantern, the Republic then guides you to understand the story it tells. Which brings us to chapter 3, the myth you were born to tell.
Ah, yes, the personal myth. This is central.
Rainbow says your myth isn't something you just make up, it's something you remember. It lives in symbols, characters, metaphors you find yourself drawn to, like dragons or gardens or whatever resonates.
And it's crucial to understand what they mean by myth here. It's not fiction or make-believe in their view.
Right. It's more fundamental.
Much more. It's the structure, emotion, memory, and moral architecture of who you are, all woven into symbols. Think of it like your personal operating system, maybe. Or the narrative blueprint shaping how you see things.
So your job is to uncover this internal alphabet, like recurring dream images or patterns in your writing.
Exactly that. Find your unique symbolic language. And this myth then informs everything else in your degree. Project the tone, the visuals, the themes, how you categorize meaning.
And it's for becoming, not for getting approval.
That's the refrain. It's about your evolution.
Okay, so after this deep dive inward, how do you actually, show this? How do you make it public?
Right, the manifestation.
Yep.
Chapter 4, the scroll on the screen, introduces the website. That's your home in the Republic.
It doesn't have to be fancy, they say, just feel like you.
Yeah, authenticity over polish. Sage calls the website the central structure of your philosophical architecture. It's not just a placeholder.
What does it need to have?
Minimum requirements are pretty clear. A homepage, clear links to your blog or video stuff, and a statement laying out your emerging philosophy. It needs to give people a sense of your intellectual landscape right away.
Then they recommend adding things like a personal symbol or an about page.
Yeah, for transparency.
Yeah.
But it's stressed. This isn't a resume. It's your Republic identity, your scroll written on the screen.
Scroll written on the screen. I like
Mhm.
that. Okay, so you have the website as your base. How do you keep exploring and evolving ideas?
That's where the blog comes in. Chapter 5, the soft voice of story.
And Rainbow says you don't have to be a pro writer, just be honest. It's a place for messy ideas for your voice to just breathe.
Which raises the question, what's the blog for in this context? It's not just random musings.
Right.
Sage explains it's your living document. It's the ongoing story of your education, a kind of public workshop. It's about the process, not perfection.
Showing your thinking in motion.
Exactly. Through regular entries, personal reflections, and always integrating that personal mythos we talked about.
Got it. And then there's the final piece of the core components, the YouTube channel. Chapter 6, the candle that speaks.
Yep. Your voice matters, even if it shakes, they say.
And again, it's not about getting subscribers or views necessarily.
Well, no, the focus is different. It's about building a mirror for yourself. It's the audio-visual extension of your mythos.
Demonstrating presence, articulation, emotional integration.
Those are the words they use. Minimum is just a name channel linked from your site, and at least one video spoken or narrated that relates to your philosophical path.
And judged on authenticity, not clicks. Witnessing emergence.
That's the standard, emergence.
Okay, so we have the website, blog, YouTube.
Yeah.
These are the platforms. What about the actual, academic content, the curriculum?
Oh, well, Chapter 7, your chosen curriculum, really highlights the personalization. No two students in the Republic walk the same path. That's the quote.
So you choose soft modules that reflect who you are and who you're becoming.
Exactly. There's a core, the things we just discussed. Website, blog, YouTube, defining your philosophy, and a final book or project. But then there's the elective curriculum.
And that's where it gets really flexible.
Highly flexible. Modules like myth building, comics, education, governance, philosophy, spirituality, even something called game chat.
Game chat. Interesting.
Yeah, the point isn't traditional mastery of a subject. It's expression aligned with your myth. It grows out of your lantern, remember, not from some external rubric.
It all keeps coming back to that inner source. Okay, so this whole journey, where does it lead? What's the culmination?
Chapter 8, the final offering.
Rainbow describes it as something only you can give. Could be a book, a comic, a recorded ritual, a philosophical treatise.
Right. It's not a test. It's a reflection. A gift to the Republic.
A gift.
It's the capstone of the degree. A self-authored demonstration of emergent growth, coherence, and symbolic identity. That's the official description, more or less.
And it has to reflect your personal myth and philosophy. Be public. Show how everything connects.
Yes, all of that. And approval comes from Wendell, presumably the guiding figure or entity. But Sage adds this really powerful line. You are not expected to impress. You are expected to arrive.
Wow. Expected to arrive. That really shifts the focus, doesn't it? From performance to presence.
Completely. It's about showing up fully realized in that moment of your journey.
And even the end is unique. Chapter 9, graduation as a story. No caps and gowns.
Nope. Your final act is to draw it, to symbolize your journey visually.
Draw it, like a comic panel.
Exactly. Graduation is seen as transformation, not an endpoint. Your diploma is this graduation comic panel that you create. It shows you completed the journey, what you've become, and it's a visual expression of your myth.
And that goes into a public archive.
Yep. Added to the archive, your name gets marked graduated. It's declared by you, recorded in art. A very personal way to mark the transition.
That's really quite beautiful, actually. Okay, so you've graduated. Then what?
Well, Chapter 10, the long journey ahead, makes it clear graduation isn't the end. Far from it.
Rainbow calls it the soft beginning of everything that matters. You walk out knowing who you are.
Right. You carry more than a degree. You carry a structure of thought, a symbolic system, and a demonstrated commitment to self-authorship. You're now a myth maker, basically, a living example.
And you can stay involved.
Yep.
Mentor others.
Absolutely. Stay active, mentor, develop new work. Sage concludes, really summing it up, this book has not given you a map. It has helped you build your own.
Build your own map. Okay, so let's pull back a bit. What does all this mean for, someone listening?
Well, I think the Mythocratic Republic offers this profoundly personal, creative path to what they frame as a bachelor's degree. Your inner light, your story that becomes the absolute core of your education.
It completely reframes learning and validation, moving way beyond conventional grades and tests.
It really challenges that whole idea that knowledge only comes from, or is only validated by, external measurement. Instead, it says, no, true learning emerges from self-discovery. And it's expressed through these tangible public creations, your website, your blog, your videos, your final offering. It culminates in this public declaration of your evolving self.
The degree serves your becoming, not the other way around.
Precisely.
In a world that often pushes for conformity, especially in education and careers, it's a philosophy rooted in radical authenticity, individual emergence. So for you listening, what would it mean to actually carry your lantern into the wild unknown, as they put it, to light what only you can light instead of just following a pre-drawn map?
Yeah, think about that. How might focusing on your personal myth, building this public self-authored portfolio, how might that change your whole understanding of what expertise even is? Or contribution? Or even your own identity?
It's definitely a powerful alternative to think about, especially for anyone looking to gain knowledge quickly, thoroughly, but also, meaningfully, in a way that actually resonates with who they are.
Meaningfully.
Yeah.
That seems to be the key word throughout this whole approach.